Good day. The topic I'll be discussing today is electrical load, sustainable energy practice, application and importance to home users, and quantity survey. Let me start by defining electrical load. Electrical load is an electrical component or portion of a circuit that consume electrical power, such as electrical appliances inside the home. Commonly used household appliances and wattage include LED light bulb, induction motor ceiling fan, laptop, digital receiver, which are basic load. We have some other load that are categorized as major load, just like refrigerator, washing machine, pumping machine, and so on. In order to reduce energy use and its effect on the climate, several strategies are necessary, including energy demand reduction, adoption of passive system and increase energy efficiency. If you want to receive, you have to be major way of achieving energy efficiency is to cultivate and promote conscious living habits that support efficient energy usage. Common habits that we can use to promote this within the household include usage of LED lights and efficient energy savings appliances, unplugging devices or gadgets when fully charged or not in use, check or lessen water usage or wastage, and in case of long absence from home, main switch should be off to reduce line loss. All this will help us to reduce the wastage in energy usage in the house. Now, what is the importance of this discussion to QS and to home users? It has been established that with further training on sustainable related technologies, innovation and design, the conventional skills of quantity surveyor can be benchmarked for sustainable project delivery. So I believe data on household energy consumption will be an added exposition for quantity surveyor in project advising road, pricing and life cycle costing, preliminary and feasibility studies. So home users, this discussion on energy saving, energy consumption, data on it will assist household energy, we assist the household home users to be able to make a proper planning on the energy running costs and the choice of home appliances and their choice of home appliances and fittings. With this study, we'll be able to check. If I want to buy a television, for example, I'll be able to check which wattage will not consume much power in order so I can be able to track and plan my energy usage. What is the practical application of this discussion? To home occupant, the knowledge of household energy consumption will assist the home user to be intentional in the choice of household gadgets, fittings and features that are energy savings and energy efficient. It will also help should in case the household home occupant want to do another source of alternative energy like solar or wind energy. The energy demand will be able to guide them as to a wattage of energy they will need to generate through solar, especially in Nigeria, which recently signed Electricity Act 2023, which allow an individual to generate their home power. Lastly, to home user, with no or little information in public space on energy cost per kilowatt unit charge it is pertinent for energy users to track, manage, and plan their energy consumption individually based on wattage consumption per day, especially the postpaid meter customers. At least with this, you'll be able to see the total gadget I have in the house, and this will be the likely usage of wattage, kilowatt per hour that I will use in a day. I'll be explaining this further in the next slide with an illustrative example. To a prospective investor, data on household energy consumption will assist the prospective investor to be informed of household energy demand and necessary investment that can be made by a prospective investor to meet them. They also assist them information of feasibility and feasibility study to the government at all levels. Data on household energy consumption will assist government on proper planning for investment into off-grid energy sources, such as wind and solar energy. And in case of energy emergency, proper planning can be made through data on household energy consumption. If there is a sudden disruption to grid line supply to a community, at least this data will enable government to be able to plan off-grid solar investment as a form of emergency to provide the energy that we will require in that community. Even our rural area where the national grid may not reach, at least this data will be able to make government to make provision for off-grid like solar to such communities. Now the practical illustration involves a 3-bedroom bungalow with the following gadgets. The basic load per hour are ceiling fan, 75 watts per hour. There are 4 numbers of them. Energy saving bulb, 4 watts, 6 numbers including lobby. Yeah. Decoder, a digital decoder, 24 watts, 1 number. Laptop. Yeah, the major loader, a deep freezer, 185 watts. Washing machine, 480 watts. Television, 87 watts. Pumping machine, 1,200 watts. So for me to explain this, I will be sharing another computation on Excel. So I categorize them under here. I compute them as basic load and major load. So if you take, for example, ceiling fan, you say we have 4 numbers of them, but we not be able, all the 4 numbers may not be on at the same time. But for sitting room, let's say it's going to be on for 10 hours. The wattage is 75. So let's say we are having power supply at least 22 days in a month due to the electricity condition of Nigeria. Otherwise, this should be 30 days. So 75 for 10 hours will give us 16,500 wattage for ceiling fan for sitting room. So if you take visitor room, this visitor room may not always have visitor. So this may not be there at all time. But in case we have visitor, we have to also compute it along. Then the other 2 rooms, 2 numbers for 75, 2 other rooms, 75 watts. So you compute all this. The same thing applies for your energy saving bulb. So we have 6 number of them, including lobby, 2 into kitchen and sitting room, 2 into bedroom, 1 into visitor room, and 1 into lobby. So if you compute all this, the basic load you are going to use in 22 days, which is, let's say, a month in some places in Nigeria, due to energy supply condition. No, we don't. So it's about 60,000 328 wattage. Now, for major load, freezer, for example, which is 185 watts per hour. So let's say you run your freezer for 12 hours in 22 days. That will give 48,840 wattage. So the same thing applies for washing machine. Washing machine, let's say you use washing machine every weekend for 1 hour. So that will give 1,920 wattage. So if you compute everything together for major load, it's about 77,094 watts. So both the major and basic load, the total wattage consumption per month is about 137,422 wattage. So which translates into 137.422 kilowatt hour per month. Now, let's say you want to get the cost indication of it. As you know, we have about 3 forms of band in Nigeria: band A, band B, band C. Let's say band C, where you are to, which is currently charged as 50 naira per unit. So that will give you, multiply your total kilowatt hour per 50 naira, which will give about 6,871 naira per month. So on an average, your kilowatt hour required per day will be 137 divided by 22, which is about 6.246 units per day. So with this data, at least when you want to buy your ceiling fan, I believe that maybe ceiling fan that the wattages are much more lesser than this. The same thing applies for pumping machine. I believe there are some new set of energy saving pumping machine which are much more less than 1,200 watts per hour. So all this, this data will be able to will enable the home user to be able to do a proper planning for the energy consumption for the energy consumption and the choice of gadgets that will not be too demanding in terms of energy. So I would like to conclude by saying the effort to reduce energy usage and its effect on our ecosystem require a deliberate change in habit. For example, if you have your laptop plugged into power, and after 2.5 hours, the laptop is already full. If you don't unplug it, in one way or the other, you will be wasting your energy, your unit. So it's a deliberate, you have to require a deliberate change in habit. Anything that we don't need at a particular time, even if it's your room, you are not inside the room, you are not using the light at that time, it's better you off the switch so that there won't be wastage due to that. Another thing is, even at the choice of using gadgets and your fittings, some fittings are less energy consumed. It consumes less energy than others. So all this should be considered at the point of design and at the point of equipment when you want to equip your home. Wastage and idleness account for a greater proportion of this in household energy consumption. Professionals in the beauty industry also, especially cost experts, need to render their services with the aim of ensuring optimum and efficient use of client resources through appropriate advice on design, method, and cost. The life cycle cost should be assessed and rated on project delivery at the onset. If you compute the running cost, the energy running cost of a house at the onset, you'll be able to guide you at the choice of design and the choice of method that you can use in the house, in the building, in the house delivery. Though at the onset, the cost implication of providing alternative energy source like solar, like wind may be high, but by the time you compute the running cost over a life cycle of a building, you'll see that it's a wise choice for you to do off-grid energy like solar. Thank you for listening.